Titus 1:10 and 11. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially those of the circumcision. So he's referring to those of the Jewish movement. Those who are saying, well, you have to keep the law, you have to be circumcised, the legalism in a form. But in a way, this goes beyond that. It's what he's directly referring to here. But there's many other deceitful teachings out there. And while legalism is still around and it's changed, it may not directly be this. But in a way, there is that sect out there saying you still have to live by the law. And there is always that constant movement out there saying, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, and then you go to heaven. If you're good enough, you get in that movement. And in a way, that's exactly what they're deceiving people with their talking. But there's also this movement that says anybody can get in, which is as dangerous. It says, well, you believe what you believe, you strive for it the most, you get in. Well, and that's horrible, because that's wrong and sinful because it's wrong. We gotta watch against false teaching, deceitful ways of the world, because they do creep in the church. And oftentimes we hear certain church groups has allowed them in so much that they've changed their way of thinking. We're to be the light, not let the darkness come in. We're to shy away the darkness by shining our light. But oftentimes it's the opposite that actually happens. Verse 11. Whose mouths must be stopped, who corrupt whole households, teaching things which they ought not, for unjust gain's sake. So they were gaining something by teaching this message of circumcision, that you had to be circumcised, you had to keep the law. They were doing it for personal gain, he's saying. He doesn't address what that personal gain is. But oftentimes following the flesh leads to personal gain. Aside from serving the Lord sacrificially, most other things people do is personal gain. So, doctrines of this world, they're taught oftentimes because they get some type of personal gain, whether that be manly merit, whether that be something else, man's favor. It varies what it is. But man's favor is a personal gain. The message they were teaching was most likely popular in this area. So they became popular for following Jesus. Is this because they taught legalism and keeping the law? And Jesus was just the cherry on top thing. Oftentimes for preaching the gospel the way it should be preached, and the way Jesus presented it, is not going to bring us a lot of fans. It's going to turn people against us. And that's just a sacrifice we got to be willing to make.